This is a regular session agenda. So welcome to the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Assessor Agency, Calexico Finance Authority meeting, July 15, 2020. This meeting is being called to order. Roll call.
Mayor Adriola Fernandez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Morris Rison, Councilmember Luis Pacheco, Councilmember Camilo Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Bill Hodge.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Dale, will you please lead?
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Calexico City Mission Statement, Mr. Figueroa.
Together, we pledge to provide effective and efficient services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico.
Do we have innovation? Frank Zazueta, pastor, will be joining us. Frank Zazueta, pastor, will be joining us.
Pastor Zazueta, you may continue with the invocation, please.
Frank Zazueta, pastor, will be joining us.
Well, let's pray. Father, you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and pray. Father in heaven, first of all, God, we're so grateful.
Pastor Zazueta, you may continue with the invocation, please.
Lord, our prayer would be that your grace would be upon Lord, and God, Father, and pray for them that you guys hear me all right? Yes. All glory comes from you. Okay, so God, I pray and pray. Father in heaven, first of all, tonight, God, we're so grateful. God, may they
That's it.
What? Thank you, Pastor. Now we will be going into closed session announcements.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. City Council met in closed session. We received directions, but no reportable actions were taken. Thank you.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion, Madam Mayor, to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Ms. Mayor, we have two comments.
Oh.
Agenda item number 12, which is a request to waive encroachment and permit fees. Staff is recommending that this item be tabled and would not be brought forward at a future date. So we're requesting the item to be tabled.
Excuse me, what item was that?
Item number 12, a request
Mr.
to
Wong.
waive permit fees. Additionally, there was a clerical error on item number 18 regarding voting delegate to the league conference. The date on the agenda states 2019. The date should be 2020. So we want to correct that for the record as well.
Now, so now do I have a motion to approve of the agenda?
I'll make that motion again, Madam Mayor.
And those would be with those removing item number 12, tabling item number 12, and then correcting that clerical error.
Let it be known that tabling means we're permanently dismissing it.
Correct.
Dismissing it. Item number 12.
Yes.
Now moving forward.
Mayor Adriela Fernandez,
Here, aye.
Mayor Pro-Tem Bryson, Mayor Councilmember Pacheco, Councilmember Garcia, Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Now we have a presentation. I want to welcome the City of Calexico is honored to welcome you, Mayor Marina de Pilar Avila. To the City of Calexico, Calexico's key proximity to the City of Mexicali positions both cities to take advantage of trade, commerce, culture, energy that comes with its unique status as international gateway cities. It is important to acknowledge the presence of your family and members of your executive team. Calexico is your home, and we look forward to fruitless outcomes from our collaboration partnership. I acknowledge the willingness and support of the communities on both sides of the border that may be divided by offense, but united by the same core values that have distinguished us from over a century as a unified, work-driven society. I would like to also recognize the leadership of your administration in continuing to encourage and support the growing partnerships between Calexico and Mexicali, especially through the hardship of the COVID-19 pandemic we are currently experiencing. We need to continue to prioritize joint efforts to inform and guide our communities through this unfortunate worldwide pandemic that affects the livelihood of our children and families. Lastly, as the mayor of Calexico, I want to highlight that our sister city collaboration efforts are indicative of the mutual interest and respect to continue solidly this enduring partnership for the future generations. I would like to revisit the sisterhood reaffirmation agreement between the City of Mexicali and Calexico and the City of Calexico from May 24, 2017 to prioritize actions of binational cooperation that focus on public health, economic development, and the environment and public safety. Gracias.
No hay mariachi. No hay mariachi, lo siento. No hay mariachi.
De nada. Gracias.
Felicidades.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. You want to go down?
You gonna go down? You go down. You want me to go?
I'm very happy right now. This is an honor for us. When I was a little girl, my mom always told me that I have to learn English. And I say, no, Mom, I prefer to play with my Barbies. And now I am here. Sorry for my English. Good afternoon, everyone. I am glad to be here in Calexico, our neighbor, and literally our sister city. I also feel very happy to attend this invitation of Mayor Rosie Arreola. In a historical way, two women in front of the government of both cities. Thank you also to all the members of the City Council and to the administration of the city, Miguel Figueroa, with whom I have treated several times, always supportive and willing to work together. Historically, you cannot understand Mexicali without Calexico, nor Calexico without Mexicali. Beyond the diplomatic sisterhood we all know, we are a single region, together with the rest of the Imperial Valley country. We all have affections, stories, and live experiences in this city, always giving each other a hand because we understand that we are one community. There is no doubt we share the same interests, values, economy, habits, and traditions. However, we also share the same problems and priorities. This is why, after this health emergency of COVID-19, we could not remain insolate, neither be working separate. I want to thank the disposition and cooperation of the government of Calexico. Together, we established the necessary measures that help us reduce the risk of this pandemic. In Mexicali, like you in Calexico, we have three priorities: security, environment protection, our old towns reactivation. As the spread of coronavirus decreases, we will be able to move forward in these three subjects and strengthen us as it has always been. In the meanwhile, I am here to establish sections between both governments with our officers and our people. We all know it has been hard months, and that three is still a long way left to overcome the pandemic. However, I am sure that if we work together, we will be able to keep us being as this region is strong and solid that cannot be easily beaten. I infinitely appreciate this distinction that you are all doing to Mexicali and our government by giving us the keys of the city of Calexico. It is an honor. On behalf of Mexicalenses, I thank you for this recognition due to the effort that each one of us has put into dealing with the coronavirus. I am sure with heart and goodwill, we will both move forward. Thank you very much, everyone.
I would also like to acknowledge, besides our Honorable Marina de Pilar, Rosalia Rojo, Director of Public Relations, Andrea Peña, Director of International Relations, Tarciso Navarrete, Mexican Consul General, Marisa Alonso, Administrative Counsel. Okay, so thank you very much for being here. Okay, could we take a short recess now?
Sure. Sounds good.
Photo.
Okay.
Photo.
Photo.
more?
What? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, meeting is now back to
order.
order, and it's 6:02.
Due to the declaration of emergency, this meeting is being held pursuant to authorization from the governor executive orders. Some or all of the council members may participate in this meeting by teleconference as authorized by Executive Order N2920, issued by the Governor of California on March 17, 2020. Until further notice, there is no public access to city council meetings. However, public participation is available via communityspectrum.org, on the City of Calexico Facebook page, and via GoToMeeting. This information for these meetings will always be available on your agenda packet. Members of the public are also encouraged to forward any public comments by 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Thank you.
So this would be, we're down to announcements. So now we're down to public comments. Do we have any public comments?
Okay, I'll read the announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the City Council meeting. Community office hours with Mayor Arriola Fernandez are suspended until further notice due to coronavirus COVID-19. And we do have public comments, ma'am. I will read them now.
Yes.
Olympia, I hope that in today's meeting you choose to remove Rosie Arriola Fernandez and Morris Risen from office. Obvious blatant corruption is going on in Calexico, and healing of our community starts with the removal from office. Gilberto Manzanares, why did the chief of police personally turn in Rosie's insurance documents to the residence she crashed into? Is that a standard procedure? The community demands background checks for council members so that we do not elect people with disgusting background like that of Morris Risen. What can we expect from them? Eric P., what DUI school is Mayor Fernandez attending? Why doesn't she retire so she can attend rehab for drinking problems? Mirna Valenzuela. Council members, especially Mr. Garcia, since you will probably seek re-election in November, can you please tell us taxpayers why animal control is not doing its job by picking up stray dogs or responding to calls of animal abuse? I called the other day and the animal control officer told me their superior had directed them not to pick up stray dogs. Why? How come El Centro, Brawley, and Imperial are responding to their taxpayers' calls and picking up stray dogs and keeping their neighborhood safe? Social media is full of photos of loose dogs in front of the yards in Calexico and people complaining about animal control not showing up. Why? There is a photo of 2 huskies in the neighborhood of West Sherman and Thielman inside cages with no shade and no response from the police department. Why? If animal control is not doing their job, then what are they doing? Why are they not doing their job to keep our streets safe and from dog bites and traffic accidents? If the animal control services is not being provided in Calexico while we get a refund, will we get a refund or will it get defunded? Mr. Garcia, we are all ears. Mirna Valenzuela. And the last one is Angel Cortez. Dear council members, my name is Angel Alberto Cortez. I am a recent graduate of California State University of Long Beach and a proud citizen of Calexico. I came back to my home to find out that our sitting mayor, Rosie Fernandez, pleaded guilty to DUI charges. What a disappointment of our council members to appoint her as our new mayor. How could we stand to have someone like Rosie, who recently was in trouble with the law, representing the city of Calexico? As someone who grew up in Calexico, I find this embarrassing and unacceptable. The citizens and businesses of Calexico are entitled to have fair, ethical, and accountable local government, which has earned the public's confidence for integrity, and this has not been the case in the past, nor now. In accordance with Calexico Code of Ethics, the mayor, therefore, must abide by various principles, 2 of them being complying with the law and having professional conduct, all in which Rosie has failed to do so. I demand Rosie step down not only as mayor but as council member and leader of this city. She owes this to the citizens of Calexico. That is all, ma'am.
Well, thank you all for your comments. City managers report. We don't have it. City council comments and reports of meetings attended. Pro Tem Risen.
Yeah, no comment at this point, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Pacheco.
Just some concerns. We have a lot of individuals going around and putting up posters or referencing our council members and our mayor. If you're not satisfied with individuals on this council, there's a formal way of removing people, and you need to either address that in that way or and it's time consuming. You need to come to the clerk's office and take out papers and start a campaign. But the way this is going around is it's not giving the city a good eye. I know it's hard to say, but if you're not satisfied with how things are moving, you have an option. We cannot remove people from this council. We don't have the authority. You do as citizens. So take a look at what you're doing and do it correctly. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A few things. I gotten a few, just made aware of a few things that are happening, around our city. Just like the comment made alluded to stray dogs and all of that. And we're here to look at that. We're going to make sure that, we address those issues and many others. We're here to serve you, of course. We're here to talk to any of you, all of you, citizens of Calexico. As far as meetings, I did participate in a meeting, Zoom meeting, with the Imperial Valley Equity and Justice. This is a group of individuals who are concerned as to what's going on with COVID, with everything coming back to normal, or when we go back to normal, whatever, or however that is going to look like. And that, they just want access to be part of the discussions and be part of the actions that are taking place. So I do support all those, initiatives, and I want to be part of that. And do please, contact me. I'm here to serve you again. I'm here to also make sure that, you have a voice. This is not about me. This is about all of you as citizens. So I'm looking forward to continue getting those comments and requests, for services. And again, we have some constraints as far as, what we can do, but we'll make sure that those are voiced where they need to be voiced. Thank you.
Councilman Hatch.
Yes. Please indulge me. This is going to take just a little time. The city government should not be immune to constructive criticism. Hence, part of the process of democracy is the right for people to hold their representatives accountable, and this city council welcomes it. On the other hand, it's important for the city council to counter the constant, unreflective naysayers that have nothing good to say about the city. This council has, in the last 4 years, worked very, very hard for the community. The tremendous experience and vision among this council has set this city on the right course. We are on a steady course of progressive accomplishments, and much of our goals have come to fruition because of the strong leadership of the administration, the department heads, and the staff and the city council. Furthermore, we have not tolerated corruption, but rooted it out quickly. Please don't make the erroneous mistake, meaning to the public, to believe that just because Millennium Council member was corrupt, that means all council members are corrupt. It just isn't true. We are a council of value and integrity with many accomplishments. If you don't believe me, let the facts and tangible achievements speak for themselves. Here are just a sampling of accomplishments for the community, especially in the last 2 years. First of all, most and very important, we led the city through historic budget challenges. We started with a general fund about 4 years ago of $4 million in debt, and now we have a plus of $700,000. The city has had a surplus in the general fund for the past 3 years. We paid off the emergency wastewater loan as the end of the fiscal year. We refinanced the tax allocation bonds, saving the city $180,000 per year, and so forth. We have a downtown action plan, capital projects completed since 2018. We have Measure D for 217. The project for $3 million is completed. Same for 2018, $4 million. And Measure D 2019 for road improvement project. All that is infrastructure. There is no doubt, one cannot refute the fact that in the last few years, you have seen a tremendous amount of work in the city for infrastructure. Those are your roads, your bridges, and your streets, and water systems. Manhole replacement project completed, $100,000. We have a bicycle master plan that's completed. We have Cortez Park, which was completed, but unfortunately we had a fire there for $300,000. Cordova Park Playground completed, $500,000. Aesthetically, it maybe is not as important, but I believe in beautification, so I think this is a plus. We have designed and installed the Kalaxico sign at the port of entry. In the realm of parks, we have Cordova Park's fields graded, fencing is being installed, sport lighting installed at Risen Field, multiple improvements to the animal shelter, and so forth. Capital projects in the works. Wastewater treatment plant expansion project has designed and is ready to bid for $37 million. We're working on a new fire station headquarters project, has bid and is ready for construction, $6 million. Cordova Park baseball and soccer fields and basketball courts for $2 million roughly. And Heber Park improvement at the hard work of Miguel Figueroa and his staff and the department heads, we received a grant for $8,500,000. Thank you for indulging me, but I think it's just important that we counter the naysayers that say that we don't care about our community and we're not doing anything. That is not true. This list proves it, and there's many, many more to say, but I didn't want to make this as short as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hutch. Okay, I do have a comment. 2 weeks ago, I was invited by the Mexicali mayor, Mrs. Pilar Avila Omeda, to El Centro. They had a kind of, it was combined, El Centro Mayor, Imperial, and Brawley, and myself, and Mexicali. And mainly, we just focus on about the COVID measures that we need to exercise. And it was a very informative meeting. Also, I think we are working on getting some type of shade for the Bank of America, especially downtown. Miguel is working on that. As you see, during around noontime or the hot hours, you'll see there's a tremendous line on the Bank of America, the ATM, and we really need to do something about that. And I think Miguel is moving forward with that. Thank you, Miguel. And I guess that's all I have for right now. So will we go on to consent agenda?
Yes. Madam Mayor, is there someone else?
Yes,
Go ahead.
sorry.
You know, I just
you brought up something when you, Chief Gerardo of the Calexico PD. Just really quick, like, I really want to commend our public safety staff, actually everybody, but I said public safety staff because I get to see them more often, especially our dispatchers right now and our traffic controllers. As you're aware, with these long lines going south, our traffic controllers have to spend a lot of time out in the heat. And I highly commend the staff that I have. They have stepped it up 100%, 150% out there in the heat. They're doing a really good job. And our dispatchers are working twice as much because of this COVID. They're not only physically exhausted, but they're mentally exhausted. I can't wait to get some normalcy back so we can start taking days off. They do take days off, but some of them had to work in the past 2 months straight without a day off. And we made a lot of accommodations to give them extra days off so they can continue resting and getting their mental health back going, which is something that we need to do, all of us, through this COVID, especially my dispatchers right now. So I ask you guys, for your blessings, your thoughts for my staff, my dispatchers that work very hard alongside, because they actually dispatch for police and fire EMS, and they handle all your 911 calls. So they are extremely busy during this time. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
City Manager's report.
Oh, we already asked.
Mr. Dale, would you step up to the? Yes.
Read the plaque, Rosie.
Behalf of our
Can you read it?
city council, your current, each one, want to say something? Councilman Pacheco?
We've already said it, but David, you've always had no secret agendas. You had no other side agendas. Your focus was not the rattle, not the abusive people that would come in here and wanting their things. You always were and took the high road and considered the citizens of the city, the 40,000 plus. They were the ones that you were working for. They were the ones that you had in mind. You continue to be a straight shooter for us. You've never had, I just trusted you and Miguel with everything that you guys were planning, because you've always took the city first. You put them first and foremost. Thank you for all the work that you've done for the city. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Morris?
Dale, you know that you and I had, in the beginning, we had friction. But I told you, and I'm going to tell you again, that I started getting used to you, and I appreciate what you did, especially helping me in the community with the park, the Rising Field, and then now you started working on the Cordova Field. And so I want to thank you, and good luck in your endeavors.
Councilman Hodge?
Well, we've already said it, like Councilman Pacheco just stated, but David, we wish you the very best, and you did a great, great job, and we will miss you. Thank you so much for your service.
Councilman Garcia?
Thank you. David, even though we didn't have a chance to work, we just had a couple of meetings. But in those meetings, I was able to really understand, what you're all about. I think a lot of things were accomplished in your tenure. I wish you the best. I know that you will be an asset to any organization or any whatever you decide to do. Best of luck. Enjoy your time and your family. You deserve it. And thank you.
So now we're moving along to
Consent.
consent agenda.
And Madam Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve under consent agenda items number 6 and 7.
Do I
So
have a
moved.
second?
So move.
All right?
All in favor?
Aye.
We have to go.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson.
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco.
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Unanimous vote.
Okay, discussion and potential action items. Adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Calexico approving the employment agreement with Miguel Figueroa and appoint him as city manager of the City of Calexico. Do we have, our attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. Before you is a resolution adopting an employment agreement with Miguel Figueroa, permanently appointing him and entering into employment contract with Mr. Figueroa as the city manager for the city of Calexico. The staff report has a background as well as the terms of the contract. I'm not sure if council wants me to go through the specifics or some of the specifics of the contract. The 5-year term commencing August of this year through August of 2025. Annual salary of $169,000, has health retirement, vehicle allowance of $400, reimbursements, termination without cause, has severance provisions, and also provides that termination without cause during the first 3 years of employment required for 1 vote of the city council. This is the same contract we had with Armando Villa, and do want to point out that the salaries of previous city managers have ranged from the 144 to 198. So that's been the previous salaries of your most recent city managers.
Okay.
Any additional questions or?
Does anybody have any questions?
No, I just read it thoroughly, and I think that it's pretty sound, and I agree with all the details in that contract, especially the compensation. I think it is a fair and equitable amount, not too high and not too low. So I'll let others speak, but I'm in favor of approving this item.
So do I have a
So-
motion?
Or anybody else want to say anything?
Or does anybody want on?
No, I think the transition that we're having with Miguel is in order. I believe he's got the pulse of the city, and him and David did a great job, but it was a great team. WWE, these guys were keeping the city afloat. It's a good transition, and I think the contract is acceptable.
Anyone else?
I want to entertain a motion.
Excuse me?
You want to speak?
Do you want to say anything? No. Okay.
Make a motion that we accept item for the contract, item number 8.
Second?
Mayor Arreola Fernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson.
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco.
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Pass.
Very good.
Item number 8, introduction and first reading by the title only of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calexico, California, amending the Calexico Municipal Code to establish the Library Board of Trustees and the Arts and Historical Commission. Do we
Thank you,
have
Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and City
backup on that?
Council.
Okay.
Previously, these two commissions were previously separate. In 2016, through the consolidation of a lot of commissions, these two commissions were combined. However, due to the fact that in May, council voted to reorganize your community services department and splitting it into both the library and the rec department. And because those two departments were separated, it was also now we now would need to come back and separate that commission since they're under different individuals now. And that's what this ordinance does, separate these two commissions, which currently are combined. And that's just due to the reorganizations that happened in May of this year.
Do we have any questions?
Not I, Madam Mayor.
So do I
Oh.
have a motion?
I'll make that okay, go ahead.
Madam Mayor, Carlos, going back, so is this based on reorg, or is this based on law that came down from the state to?
It was based on the reorganization that split the department, and because you split the department, having a commission that would have both the Art and Historical and Board of Trustees would be staffed by different departments now within the city. So this didn't work anymore to have a combined committee when now these two departments were split. So it was not required by law. It's just a manner of how to best staff the commission. And now because they were split, these departments, in order to staff it, made sense to go ahead and split the commissions as well. Yeah, because before they were combined, so, you know, the department, and being department, you had a commission that covered both. But now, since the reorg, you split the department, we also are not going to split the commission, so you can properly be staffed.
So now do I have a motion?
Yeah, make a motion to approve this item number 9.
I second.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia, Councilmember Hodge,
Aye,
Passed unanimously.
very good.
Madam Mayor, an ordinance City Council, City of Calexico, California, amending the Calexico Municipal Code to establish the Library Board of Trustees and the Art and Historical Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. We're on item 10, authorize city manager to sign amendment number 3 for professional service between the city of Calexico and 10 other studios to provide project management services for the new fire station headquarters. Do we have a backup?
Chief.
Good evening, council, staff that's here, and the people watching us on the internet. Thank you for getting us to this point where we're at right now. So what we're asking you for tonight is to give us the permission to award the project manager position to 10 Over Studios. What this is going to do is basically manage the whole project, just like it says, project manager. They're going to manage the whole project, keep the construction crews and the contractor on a timely schedule. We've chosen 10 Over Studios as part of our initial contract, and we feel and think that it'd probably be a good idea to keep everything at the same level. That way, there's no miscommunication whatsoever. Is there any questions on this?
What's the total cost for this particular item?
55.
I believe it's $55,000.
Okay.
And it's within the budget.
It's within the budget, yes.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve this item 10.
I will second it.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia, Councilmember Hodge,
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
Thank you, Chief.
Item 11, approval of easement and assessment agreement, an agreement for purchase of easement between the City of Calexico and SBA Towers X LLC for the Calexico Water Tower located at 352 East First Street, Calexico, California. Backup.
Thank you, Mayor. As the city council knows, the water tower on First Street has been an iconic symbol for the city. Recently, some structural deficiencies were identified, And in order to look at sort of how to maintain, repair those, and also for the long-term viability and structural integrity, the city issued a request for proposals from the carriers, for wireless carriers that were already situated on the water tower itself for wireless. The city did receive 5 proposals. Based upon those, we have negotiated these agreements with SBA Towers for 55-year lease of the water tower and the underlying land to SBA Towers. There will be a upfront payment of $1.51 million, and it would be for a 5-year term of the lease.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Any questions?
No, I
Make a
think
motion that we approve number 11.
I will second that. I think we've discussed this thoroughly.
Yes.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Preisen,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
No.
Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1.
4-1. Item 12 has been pulled out. So we're going to item 13. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Calexico authorizing the city manager and city clerk to accept relinquishment of SR 111 south of 2nd Street Avenue as duplicate on the relinquishment map number R34635 from the State of California Department of Transportation, and authorize the city manager to accept and execute any certificates of acceptance, relinquishments, grant deeds, and other documents as may be necessary to fully execute the relinquishment and to take any other actions that may be necessary in furtherance of the relinquishment. Could I have a backup on this?
Correct. Caltrans has approached the city about relinquishing this piece of property. It's best identified in the map that's attached to the staff report. And since Caltrans has offered it, and for expansion of the new port of entry, city feels that they would approve accepting the relinquishment from Caltrans to the city of Calexico. And like I said, the exhibit that's attached to staff report, that shows you the exact property that would be relinquished from Caltrans to the city of Calexico.
Mr. Dale, do you have any recommendations for the property, how we can actively utilize it in a manner, or what plans do you think we might proceed with?
Yes, right. This piece of property specifically, we're being asked to take ownership of because we have discussions with fire and police with the new port of entry phase 2, and they're asking for an exit at that location, and our fire and police are asking for an entrance, a secondary entrance to for our emergency vehicles, and so we need to take that piece of property to make that happen. The other piece of property that's south of that is already U.S. government. It is the piece of property that is adjacent to the existing WETA building.
Will give us better access to the port of entry.
Yes, into the new port of entry, and also it may be used as an egress, potentially a secondary egress location to the new port, possibly. There's no guarantee of that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Madam Mayor.
A second.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Preisen,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Pass. 14, award the bid proposal for Tom Watson Industries in the amount of $755,501. What is it,
755?
$755,501. And authorize city manager to sign construction agreement for sport lighting at Andrew C. Cordova Memorial Park Project number 2020 to 400.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to get Cordova Park finished before I left, but that didn't happen. Unfortunately, we only did receive one bid. It's a public bid, and because of that, I'm recommending that the bid be rejected and go back to rebid. Unfortunately, Tom Watson does great work. He did the work at Rise and Field basically at his own cost. But because there's only one bid, that will be up to this council. But you know, go through another 2 months of bidding and start over again.
And Mr. Dale, would you feel that the amount is
The amount is well within reason. We had estimated originally when we bid the project of about $800,000. It came in under that, $755,000. However, just if there's a perception of any kind of corruption or anything like that, I ask you to reject the bid. Thank you. But again, I wanted to say that Tom Watson is an excellent contractor. Does great work. He did the Rise and Field, like I said, and he came through for us at his own cost to help finish that project. But again, with only one bid, if there's any perception of anything doing wrong, then I suggest you reject.
Well, Mr. Dale, we talked to him yesterday, and he's going to give the fringe benefit. He's going to put a restroom in Rising Park. So the bid seems right now at this price. So I would make a motion that we accept this bid and not waste any more time on it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that. But
basing it on Mr. Watson's reputable work ethic and his company, and they do excellent work, and I believe that Mr. Dale is saying they do excellent work. And
Very good.
So I'll agree to accept this contract.
Mayor Arrola Fernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia, Councilmember Hodge.
aye.
Motion passes unanimously, ma'am.
Passed. 15, reject all bids received for the Calexico International Airport Taxiway Rehabilitation FAA AIP number 3-06-0034-018-2020. Do we have a?
Yes, good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. Back in 2018, the Calexico International Airport received a about $236,000 grant to do the design phase for our Taxi A rehabilitation project. The plans and specs were completed in April of 2020. So we went out to bid and we received 4 bids. Once we received the bids, we submitted it to the Federal Aviation Administration, and they informed us for their approval, and they informed us that unfortunately they don't have allocated the $3 million that the project cost. Therefore, we are working right now with FAA to see if maybe they can at least give us half of the amount that is being requested for fiscal year 20 and maybe the other half in 2021. So since we're working with FAA, we are requesting that the 4 bids received be rejected until the complete funding is allocated.
Very well.
Any questions?
Not aye, Madam Mayor.
Make a motion to reject all the bids received for the Calexico International Airport Taxiway and Rehabilitation, FFA AIP number 3-06-0034-018-2020.
Do you have a second?
I second.
Mayor Arreola Pacheco? Arreola Fernandez? Mayor Pro Tem Risen?
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco?
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia? Councilmember Hodge?
Aye.
Motion passes, Mayor.
Yes. 16, authorize city manager to file notice of completion for Cesar Chavez Boulevard improvements, federal aid project number HPL OUL-5168017. Okay.
Yes, I'm happy to report that after probably 10 years, 8 years of approximately of, requesting funding, doing the design phase and the construction, Cesar Chavez is finally complete. Therefore, we are asking for City Council approval to authorize the city manager to file the notice of completion. That way we can close out the project and also request all the funding to close out the project.
I want to thank you for your very hard work on this,
Thank you.
everybody involved. And this is quite an achievement for the citizens of Calexico. Thank you.
It's a beautiful entryway into our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I know it looks great, but I know we have the cement dividers, and I know that was top of the conversation, or has been, back and forth. Is there a way, in the design, and I know we're taking this project as finalized, but it's just the access. I mean, you get to a point, I think, from Grant all the way down, if you get into the line going to Mexicali, there's no way that you're gonna be able to get out. And, just going back to 3 weeks ago or a month ago, if you got in there, you couldn't get out. So is there a way that, something can be done, at least to be able to have an exit before, getting to Second Street?
Well, this project, we did a lot of public outreach, and we got all the feedback from the community as well as the administration. Originally, there was a concrete medium in between the northbound and the southbound lane, but because of the accidents and all of the traffic counts, it was recommended that we put the concrete blocks. It is something that can be considered, but we would not need to, do more research, traffic analysis, and make sure that we have the appropriate medium lines so there's no traffic. Plus, it really, in my personal opinion, it really helps the traffic controllers, because if we wouldn't have those traffic barriers, the police department would have to add extra traffic controllers when there is a long line through Cesar Chavez.
And it was just that, again, the day after that gridlock, getting in line and,
Making a mistake.
I couldn't get out, and just to kind of get a feel for how it feels to be stuck in that, gridlock on that traffic. So from that, from Grant to all the way to Second Street, it was about an hour. And I believe that there were actually people who were backing out from there, just trying to prevent from getting stuck. So it was just some concern that I saw there, but I understand that there has to be, studies and
Yeah, we would have to do a traffic analysis.
yeah, so just as an FYI.
Okay.
Something to keep in mind.
I believe that the K-rails are essential right now, especially when we have these long lines. Otherwise, people be going back in and out. So right now, 2 weeks ago, when it first started, it was a fluke. We weren't expecting that many people, that many cars, but the K-rails are essential right now.
I concur with Councilman Garcia. I think in the future, we should consider that for the citizens, to have some kind of escape valve before they realize. People are going to make mistakes, and that would be something to look at for the future. Well, I'll make a motion to approve this item, number
second it.
16.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Approve the City of Calexico 5-year program projects 2020 to 2025 for the road projects to be funded by Imperial County Local Transportation Authority LTA Sales Tax Revenue Bond.
Yes, every year the city receives funding through the Local Transportation Authority, which is the sales tax. So every year it's required that we present the list of a 5-year project so we're requesting City Council approval for the 5-year program project list for fiscal year 2020 to 2025. Right now, we currently are advertising our street improvement project, which the bid opening will be next Tuesday, July 21st. And we are estimating that project to be about $5 million to $6 million. We are planning to resurface, I believe it's 58 streets. So hopefully we can bring, depending on the results, bring it to City Council in September. But for right now, we need to approve the list for fiscal year 2020, 2025.
And Ms. Philomena, this is all the streets,
Not all of them, but
pretty
yes.
much, pretty
Yes.
much,
If
but you're not gonna get to all of them, it's just,
No, it's just a list that we have because,
and you target.
right, we need to have the street, in order to spend the LTA fund on a particular street, it needs to be mentioned on the street, otherwise we won't be able to spend any of
Yes.
the Measure D or LTA funds towards resurfacing or maintaining the street.
The Scaroni, is that how you pronounce it?
Scaroni?
Scaroni Road
Yes, Barone.
is in really bad shape as you're off of Cole going to Applebee's and the theater. How come that's not on this list?
That's another project that we have coming up. It's a separate project from the street improvement project. We were able to secure some funding for Scaroni Road between 98 and Cole, but because of the funding, we will be extending it up to the bridge. So that's a separate project than the one we're working on, but it's in the works.
I see. And just one more question. On an annual basis for the LTA, how much do we receive?
Well, right now we have the bond, and the bond was issued back in 2018, and I believe it was about 12 to 13 million.
Okay.
We have already spent about 5, so the remaining is still there to be spent for our street improvement projects.
Very good.
How do we prioritize which street gets paved first?
The engineering department as well as Public Works has a list.
Okay.
So before we begin the process of the planning phase, we go out there and we make sure how the street is, and we have a rating. So it also depends on the condition of the street and also how much funding we have. Because some of the streets, you cannot just resurface, it has to be constructed new. So our engineering, which is our project inspector, our engineering tech, and myself, we go out there and make sure that the streets we can resurface, and then we put them in the rating scale.
Yeah, because, based on this list, I've taken many drives and runs, throughout our city, excuse me. And yes, some of these are in desperate, need of
Okay.
resurfacing, but there's some other ones that are still, okay. So I would like to see something where we, take priority first on that, just in case sometimes things happen. So at least we get to those first.
Right.
Rather than starting on a street that might be still okay. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and we also like to do, when we categorize it, we like to do in sections, because so that way the cost of mobilization from one side to the city to the next is not that expensive, and the bid, can be competitive, and we can get more money done in certain areas.
It's also a way of showing our citizens that we are thinking of streets, sidewalks, and bridges, and that we're taking care of the city, and this is one way of spending the money, and I think it's done the right way. We select the right streets. So make a motion to approve the list of the streets.
I'll second that.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge?
Aye.
Motion
Passed
passes.
Me- Mr. Figueroa?
Okay. Now we have the 18 designation of voting delegate and attorney for the 2020 League of California Cities Annual Conference and Expo, October 7 to the 9, 2020.
As we know, this is an item that we do on an annual basis, given the rotation that we go through. The reason I'm here right now before you folks follow through on your selection is that we received an update from the League of California Cities today, in which they're going to keep us posted, obviously, considering the pandemic that we're going through and the mass gatherings and the provisions that we need to take. So far, the conference has not been canceled. I want to point that out and be clear. So it's important that you folks move forward and make your designation. More than likely, there's going to be updates coming up that we will be sharing with you.
This is the one in Long Beach?
Yes.
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 Okay, so
I would like to make a motion or designate Mr. Hodge, Councilman Hodge.
I'll accept as an alternate. I think,
mainly is mayor. and-
yeah, I would like to
It's a mayor and.
appoint our mayor as the voting delegate.
Okay, so we have our mayor and a pro-mayor.
Yeah, make a motion that the mayor go and the alternate would be Mr. Hodge,
Okay,
okay?
don't, on here we have two.
No, it's three.
It's three, I'm sorry.
Two alternates.
Appoint
No, wait,
one
am I
voting
right?
delegate.
No, it says,
Two voting alternate delegates. One voting delegate and two voting alternate delegates. That's three.
Recommend
Miguel,
Garcia.
¿cuántos son? ¿Las mani?
Yeah, it's like it was shared right now. There's one voting and there has to be two alternates.
So
You get to pick three names.
Mayor Pro Tem and myself.
It's an alternate, okay. No, we already got it. Mayor, and then it'll be Mayor Pro Tem and,
Mr. Hodge.
and Hodge.
Hodge, Morris, and the mayor.
Accept it.
Okay, so. Motion, or,
Okay. Does someone make a motion?
No, make a motion that the mayor be the voting delegate and have Mr. Hodge and Mr. Risen voting alternate delegates to the League of Cities to be held in
I'll
possibly
second that.
Long Beach.
Mayor Adriana Fernandez?
aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Risen?
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco?
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia?
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Pass. Do we have any future items for our agenda?
Madam Mayor?
Mr.
I do have a few, or at least a couple of them. First, I would like to direct, staff to form a COVID-19 task force. And this is due to the fact that, we're still in the middle of this pandemic. We're still in the middle of uncertainty. And I think a lot of conversations are taking place throughout the county, throughout the state, throughout the nation. And that needs to happen also here. But beyond conversations, I want to see actions. I want to see tangibles. I want to see stakeholders, participating. That being, community-based organizations, CBOs, staff, of course. Make myself available for that also, if allowable, and community members. I think we need to make sure that we take a more active approach to this. We need to make sure there's education, there's outreach, there's enforcement. That has been discussed at a county level, at different levels. So I don't think we get it. I don't think we get it. And not until we start enforcing, until we start really putting some teeth into this. So I strongly suggest for this creation as soon as possible. Then also, I would like to, for staff to, work as soon as possible on a study on fees, on permit fees. I've seen that has been in the agenda before. I've seen that that's something that we need. I've seen that, we need to make sure that, we continue to invite, our businesses, that we are at a par with other cities, that we do our due diligence. So again, I want to emphasize that we need to get on this study and come up with, something that makes sense, something that is up to date, and, let's get this going. The last one, parks. I've seen that lights go off or go out. I was at Nosotros Park the other day about, it was already dark, maybe 8:30 or something, and people were still walking around the park. People were still coming in the park. So the gate was still open. So I don't think it's safe, when people go in and, the lights are off. So either we keep those lights off and we close the gate. So that's something that, we need to look at. And one last thing also, I don't know who is the owner or that trailer that is parked next to the entrance of that park. So that is also an eyesore. I don't know what's the purpose, or if it serves a purpose, but I think that doesn't help. That's the first thing that you see into going to that park. And then also, as you go in with the lights off, the gate open, so that might invite, activity that we don't want happening in our city, or around that area, or any area for that matter. So if we can look into that, we really appreciate it.
Which park are you talking about?
Nosotros, the former skate park.
The skateboard?
Yeah, where the skate park used to be. As you go in, there's that trailer, that old trailer.
Oh, the old trailer.
Mobile.
Oh, no, that was the PAL trailer.
So, again, that just...
We will address the three items, council member.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Which park are you talking about again?
Nosotros.
Oh, Nosotros, okay.
Chief, have we designated again the essential stores that should be open, since the governor is now doing another
Shutdown.
relaxing, or not relaxing, but becoming more strict, and we're going to go back to, I guess, beginning phase, I don't know, but are we going to be closing down stores that shouldn't be open because they're not essential?
A very unpopular topic in the whole California nations, and unfortunately, we are working with code enforcement. We'll have to work with code enforcement and start deciding, well, along with the county orders, is the stores can maintain open as long as they have curbside pickup. That is their recommendation for right now. So it'll be curbside pickup only. If the cases don't improve, though, which I was talking to a public health official, is they're looking at, shutting us down again. And it's going to be, very hard to monitor that. We were the only city in Imperial County that when COVID first started, we dropped the hammer the way it should have been done. And we were complimented as a city at a county of Imperial meeting, where they said that they liked the fact that we took the measures that were put out there. Being that said, it's going to be a little bit difficult to go back to that stage one, but if the governor calls it and the public health does it, it's going to be very unpopular. I'm going to follow what public health and the governor says, and so I'm just giving you guys a forewarning that if it happens, we need to be together as a city and do this for our citizens. In order for this for us to curb the COVID and try to flatten that curve and then decline, is we need to do our parts. And one of the things that you brought up, Mr. Garcia, is if it'll be a good idea just to close that park down. In Nosotros Park, it's unpopular because people go walk there, and just shut it down completely.
Well, the county's closing their parks.
The county left it up, but they actually left it up to each city to decide whether we're going to close the parks or not. So if, as a city council, you guys give us direction, then we'll do what we have to do. So
Well, we shut the lights down already.
You shut the lights down and it's working, but like Mr. Garcia said, you know, people still drive in there. It's open, and so, I mean, we'll have to look into it, like Mr. Figueroa said, and then we'll come, staff will do something, and then you know, we can report it afterwards.
Chief, another one, is Mexicali continuing the Thursday, Friday, Saturday check stops and checkpoints and making sure that people are two in the car and whatever other guidelines there, is that reoccurring this weekend?
Yes, so what I was told from one of the ladies that was here, it was good to meet her because she sends me emails on, you know, every week. They're going to continue this until Mexicali also sees a flattening curve. They are not going to stop it until they see their numbers go down too. They're trying very hard to control it down there, but just like here, it's, you know, I think we have to do our part with social distancing, wearing masks, and that would help us a lot if people just did that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any other questions regarding anything else?
No, just going back, I know the enforcement component has been discussed, and, you know, at the county level, and I know it has a lot of other ramifications, you know, how do you enforce it, you know, so all kinds of things. But if we can just look into that, you know, start setting some examples, you know, of just stopping this, because again, I don't think, you know, us as citizens are taking the initiative to do something about that. You know, I still see and go around, you know, the city, I see a lot of, you know, young, and I get it, you know, they want to go out, but, you know, you still see a lot of kids, you know, playing at the parks, you know, soccer, or, you know, even people gathering at, you know, parks, you know, having celebrations, which again, you know, I understand, but, you know, we have to do something, you know, we have the highest numbers, we have to do something about it, because that affects everything, that affects our businesses, and you know, we just want to get out of this. So we
No
have
kidding.
to step up.
No kidding.
All right.
Okay, Chief had some complaints again about Walmart. They're not taking temperature. I was in there the other day, and some people weren't wearing masks. It just seems to be relaxed. Can we go talk to them again?
So what we can do is we can go talk to the store again. I know they closed it down because they had to do some deep cleaning on there.
Right.
You know, the store is doing the best that they can. You have people that will walk in there with masks, and then as soon as they walk in and they start walking towards the back, they take the mask off.
You're starting on
E-
Monday.
Excuse me?
Walmart starting Monday, you have to wear masks now.
Yes, so they were requiring everybody to wear masks. So, Mr. Hodge, the thing is this: we can go and try to enforce laws. We can try to do, but it's not all on the police. It's not all on your city government. It's not all on your state government. It's on the people. And in order for this COVID to start, those numbers start flattening and declining, it is up to the people. The people need to start doing what they got to do. We'll take enforcement action when we have to. People that are still having parties, shame on them. You know, citizens, you complain about the police not doing their job, then you do your job too. And I'll take a stand, you know, a start stand, you know, you can blame me for whatever you want to blame me, it's fine. I said, but you know what, if you know that your neighbors are having parties or having gatherings, and it's not just their immediate family, you should be calling us, and we go out there. Look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go out there, we're going to get the address, we can do a complaint on them, and we tell them to shut it down. If they don't listen to us,
Experiencing unprecedented surges.
if they don't listen to us, we'll cite them, and we cite them for every time that they violate it. So if it's a party one day at 11 o'clock at night, and we go back at 1 in the morning, that's 2 citations. The thing is, we shouldn't be reaching that citation. Why do we have to be punishing people for that? People should be taking their own responsibilities, acting adult, being responsible for this COVID. We're not going to see these numbers go down until somebody takes it seriously. That's the bottom line. I mean, we're trying very hard. We are mentally tired as city employees. We have to wash, we have to clean, we have to get everything done at our departments in our city. We have to have people come in and do vapor fogging and disinfecting my cars, my units. The fire department, it's like having a small child going to the mud every time he goes outside. Every time they drive the ambulance, they have to go decontaminate the ambulance. And so, you know, we get tired because people aren't doing their part. I mean, some people are going to get it, but why go out and take it to your grandparent? Why go out, take it to your mom? Why go out, stay home? If the people just hunkered down for a good 21 days, not the 14, 21 days, you would see that those numbers go down.
I know. It's
everybody's
exasperating,
responsibility.
very frustrating.
Yeah, very frustrating. And you know, people like to go on social media and put all this stuff. Is, you know what? Practice what you preach. If you're pointing fingers at people, you know what? You need to point some back at you. If you're out there doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing.
Then the next item for future agenda items, you may not agree with me, but I'll try to explain. You know, we are at a critical junction with COVID-19, and across our nation, and especially Imperial Valley, we're experiencing unprecedented surges. Now, as far as I know, Mexicali has mandated that citizens wear masks. And our sister city in Calexico has a very symbiotic, close relationship. We impact each other. So I want to request for a future agenda item that we discuss and possibly pass a resolution that we mandate here in Calexico citizens to wear their mask outside of their homes at all times. Now, I know that's a burden, and I'm not expecting full enforcement, but just maybe by passing this, that will have some teeth and people will take it more seriously to wear their mask. So that's my last final
Mr.
agenda
Hodge,
item.
but it's already mandated. It's already mandated by the governor and the public health department. Everybody should be wearing a mask, yes. You know, my problem is when I have 3 officers or 4 officers on patrol, it's kind of hard just to be stopping people. Like right now was with one of my sergeants out there, and they had a call, which is a serious call that we're responding to.
Okay.
So I'm saying yes, we can go out there and cite people. I mean, but at the same time, you know, citation, yeah, it scares that one person, and it might spread out to 5 people or 10 people are on there. But what about the rest of the people that don't want to take their responsibility? I mean, the burden is on us sometimes, but the burden should be put on the people too. It should be a 50-50. It should be actually it should be like a 90-10, 90 them.
But then when
10%
people
us.
don't want to comply,
Then we cite them. Simple as
we
that.
need ways or tools to enforce it. But if you're telling me that it's already been mandated by the state, then I rescind this future agenda item.
Okay.
You have to wear your mask in your car?
You don't have to wear it in your car.
No.
I mean, that's the whole thing. If you're with the same family member, the same person that lives with you, you don't have to wear a mask inside your car. It's when you go pick up people that are, you know, if you're going to pick up somebody, I mean, why would you want to get sick? I mean, we don't know this COVID. We don't know how it's going to hit you. It hits everybody different. Some people are asymptomatic. Some people just get a fever. You know, some people, you know, more than that, you know, and so then some people don't show no signs until they're
I can
intubated.
attest to that.
Yeah. Yes, anything else, sir? I'm sorry.
So, Chief, if you could just work with Mr. Figueroa on that.
Yes, sir.
You know, you know, there's some ideas. I know you have your share on staff, but maybe we could just work on having someone, some sort of one of the traffic controllers or your senior traffic controllers or whoever that might be, just doing that, you know, because again, we have to, I come from an educational background. We have to go, Councilman Pacheco also comes from that. You know, we have to go through the progressive discipline, you know, and we haven't done it. And I know people will take it really bad, you know, when you just go and punish them without giving them an opportunity. And with that also, we can just say, you know what, we told you so. So now this is your punishment, you know, because again, if we just go with the punishment, we're going to have all these reactions. And I get you. I understand that, you know, we are the ones that, you know, have the solution to this problem also by observing those guidelines, you know, and we don't have to make any more guidelines. They are already there. We just have to make sure that,
Enforce.
you know, enforce and put them out there also, and
And they
people
have to
get it.
comply.
Because I don't think that we are getting this whole thing, you know, and this is what is preventing from us to have a normal way of life as we used to have it. You know, we talk about the new normal, we don't know how that is gonna look like. Look, this chamber is almost empty, you know, and so many other, you know, but businesses. So we need to make sure that we move on this really fast. You know, you have a wealth of knowledge. You come from, and that's your expertise, you know, law enforcement. So with that, you know, work with Mr. Figueroa and staff and come up with an action plan that we can truly make it work here for Calexico.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Figueroa, 933 Rockwood, it looks like it's an abandoned home, and there's yellow tape, there's do not cross, but it's it's open, it's very tempting, and I know we have a company that works with that type of work of cleaning up and
Nuisance
looking up
abatement.
for the owner and see who can clean up or what we're gonna do, but it's right in front of Rockwood School, and it's might be a place to hang out or whatever, pero 933 Rockwood. Thank you.
Noted, Councilman Becker.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Anything else?
No, not I, Madam Mayor.
No?
Tell them about it's gonna be dark. In August, we're gonna be dark.
Oh, okay. I guess going back to, we will be going dark in August.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so our next meeting will be,
September the 2nd.
excuse me?
September the 2nd.
September the 2nd. Well, everybody have a good vacation and
we have a
good
special
night, be
meeting.
safe. And this meeting is adjourned.
All right.